Tippy time my damies, Top Cat here and welcome back to the channel. Arc Warlocks have never been this good. They've kept all the usual hostility and AOE, we've got a new way to super spam, and we finally got a blind function that works in all levels of content. The Storm Dancer's brace got nerfed, so Chaos Reach is back on the menu. This is going to bring back those Geomags as well. They've had a rework. Its perk is close enough, so when damaging targets with a Chaos Reach, it's going to extend its duration. This goes from 6 seconds to 12 seconds, and it refunds 10% super energy when we're damaging a single target. So now its damage output is 898,000. We're able to cancel this Chaos Reach, and we'll still be able to maintain 25% on that super bar. Once it's cut off, we can boost our super gen when we collect Ionic traces. Each Ionic trace is going to give us 7% super energy. We're also going to be taking advantage of that new verb bolt charge. When we got 6 stacks of this, we can run with the Geomags and it's going to top us off those last 4 levels. Now Warlock is easily the best with Ionic traces due to our aspect electrostatic mind. When we defeat targets with our arc abilities, or by defeating jolted or blinded targets, we create an Ionic trace. There's no cooldown on these, we can make as many as we want, and each of them is going to give us melee, super, grenade and rift energy. And when we collect these reset our amplified timer. With all these arc traces, it seems silly not to run an elemental charge mod on our boots, so when we collect those traces, they're going to give us an armor charge. This way we can run surge mods to constantly buff our arc weapons. I've double stacked these to give us a 17% weapon surge. Our Arc Warlock got a new aspect, the Ionic Sentry. I love this way more than Arc Souls. It creates one giant arc zapping buddy, kind of like those giant Tesla balls we used to play with in college. When we defeat targets with kinetic or arc weapons, or arc abilities, we charge up an Ionic turret. With 5 kills, she's ready to go. I want to point out here that our Glaive's melee damage is kinetic damage, so it's very easy to charge this up with a stick in your hands, particularly when your targets are blind. Our Tesla ball is going to last for 15 seconds. Each of its attacks do 9,714 damage. It'll zap one foe every second and does a total of 146k damage. So not only is this deadlier than our arc buddies, but their blind function really does help out when taking on those chunkier targets. As an arc ability, this will also be able to trigger our bolt charge attack. At base, this does 14,500 damage, but with that flashover mod in the artifact, when we're amplified, which let's face it, we always are, this bolt charger jumps to 55,500 damage. I'm running one dynamo mod. This is going to feed us a bonus 5% super energy when we plant our rift down next to foes. I'm running double distribution. This is a further 6% class ability energy, super energy, melee energy, and grenade energy. And on our gauntlets we're running ×2 focusing strike. Whenever I launch into attack, I'll always do my chain melee first. This will trigger amplified. It'll feed some rift energy. We plant down our rift. We put down our Ionic Sentry. We don't have to use our melee often, as we've mainly got that stick in our hands. So it's always ready to go to feed us back a further 17% rift energy when we move on to the next targets. I've chosen the Trials of Osiris Glaive, the Unexpected Resurgence. It's arc so it can boost its projectile damage. I've statted for reloader mine. I'm also running one reloader on my gauntlets, as mine runs with bolt shot. There are other glaives that run bolt shot, but I've chosen this one as it's adaptive. It's got great stats across the board. Glaives actually did get amazing buffs across the board this season, so if you haven't used one previously, please check them out. They're now the tits, and this one rolls with Thresh, so I gain more super juice. I'll be running the T-Lord for the first part of the season, as it seems the Overload LMG mod is a little bit buggy, but even going forwards, it's still the best LMG in my opinion, so I'll probably keep this throughout, as it's a great weapon for both crowd control and attacking things like Tormentors. It's going to pair well with my Fragment Spark of Beacons. Whilst we're amplified, our Arc Special or Heavy Weapon Final Blows will create a blinding explosion. Spark of Discharge, our Arc Weapon Final Blows have a chance to create an Ionic Trace. So now these traces not only feed us super juice, with Discharge when we collect them, it's going to grant us a stack of Bolt Charge. In the artifact, we've got overclock and load. Whilst we're amplified or have a bolt charge, our arc weapons gain increased handling and reload speed. Hold the line. When we're surrounded, our LMGs and glaives will gain bonus reload speed and stability, and our final blows will heal us. Thanks to Nobel, we can double special very easily, as our rapid glaive melee final blows will also grant us glaive ammo. And when we block damage with our glaives, it's going to increase our melee damage for 5 seconds. This will increase our melee damage from 14k a hit to 24k a hit on those light attacks, and on our heavy attacks this goes from 24k to 44k. With Dialectic we can defeat an arc debuff target. This is going to grant us even more bolt charge. Between our Tesla ball and Sparker beacons, everything is going to be blinded, so every kill is going to be feeding us multiple bolt charges. Frequency got a rework. Now with our melee hits, it's going to increase our equipped weapon reload speed and stability for a short time, and whilst amplified, these effects are increased and you gain stacks of bolt charges from all sources. This is bonus 15 stability, 50 reload for the next 5 seconds, giving us quick access to bolt shot on our glaives finally. Our last fragment, and certainly not the least, is Sparker Resistance. Whilst we're surrounded by combatants, we're more resistant to incoming damage. This will grant us that good 25% DR, which makes glaving mofos like double bagging your ding dong. Now I've chosen Nox Perennial Strand Fusion Rifle in my primary slot. It's decent DPS, it can stun unstops, but most importantly, thanks to the unraveling orbs in the artifact, when we pick up an orb of power, this is going to grant us strand weapons unraveling rounds. Strand and arc go well together. Whether it's our Tesla ball zapping things or getting jolted, it's going to spread those green space aids around, doing damage and debuff. And if you need an anti-barrier weapon, I suggest swapping it up for the Call Strand Special Sidearm. Now feel free to pause here for my mods, fragments and artifact, but there will be a dim link in the description down below. I am honestly shocked how good this Arc Warlock feels. It's hard to put a Prismatic Warlock down, but this definitely brought me back to all that Kamehameha goodness. And it's elevated blind to the next level. This aspect is going to be bonkers in endgame. But I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure to thumb it if you dug it, sub if you're new, and as always, tippy time, damies, what a tie.